exactly happened there? This is the story where we get the word sodomite.
The Sodom and Gomorrah story is not about homosexuality.
Sodom and Gomorrah is the story of the failure to provide hospitality. It's the failure to honor the stranger in your midst.
These two angels go into Sodom, and they sit sort of on the curb in the town square waiting to see if somebody will offer them hospitality. And as it gets later and later in the evening, the people in the village begin to say, we're going to have some entertainment tonight. You know, they didn't have television or the Yankees to watch. And then Lot, about 5 o'clock or near sundown, comes out in this story and offers the hospitality of his home.
Hello, please, stay at my house with me.
That frustrates all these people. And so they go storming to Lot's home. Every man in the village, it says, including the 2 sons who are engaged to be married to Lot's 2 daughters, comes and they beat on the tent of Lot and demand that these visitors be brought out so that they might know them. And the word know in Hebrew carried sexual connotations. And Adam knew Eve and she conceived is sort of the same word. And Lot refuses because he says, I've given my word.
But when you see what the solution was,
Leave my guests alone. Rape my virgin daughters instead.
The angels discover they've got angelic power at that moment, and so they blind everybody in the crowd. Then the angel says to Lot and his wife and the 2 daughters,
We're going to destroy the city. You must flee. Flee for your lives.
and so they head out. They're told not to look back, and if they look back, they'll turn into a pillar of salt. Well, Lot's wife supposedly turns back and looks and becomes a pillar of salt. And so she disappears from the moment. So it's Lot and his 2 daughters. But where do you go? They wanted to go to the next village, but they knew what happened to strangers when they came into a village without protection, so they decided they wouldn't do that. So they went up to the mountains and lived in a cave. And the 2 daughters suddenly awakened to the fact that in the law of the world in which they lived, the only place they could get husbands was from their tribe.
How are we going to have kids if there's no one around? Tonight we'll get Dad drunk and I'll have him. Tomorrow we'll get him drunk again and you can have him.
And they have incestuous relationships with their father, and they both get pregnant. That story is used to condemn homosexuality.
that's why they call fags sodomites. That's why they call gays sodomites. Of all the scriptures that have been used to try to punish gay and lesbian folks, Sodom and Gomorrah is the most misused. The Sodom and Gomorrah story is, by all modern biblical scholars, primarily a story about violations of hospitality, where there's a kind of irony about that, because in fact it's used to condemn people who are often considered to be strangers from the majority of society.
It is about lack of hospitality. It is about violence.
And it was just a way of amplifying that violence to say that all the men of the city come out and are ready to rape the stranger.
The true sin in the Sodom and Gomorrah story to me is when Lot says, here are my 2 virgin daughters, why don't you gang rape them instead?
Then that means we have to be ready to provide our daughters as substitutes for rape victims.
That, I would think, would be something we'd want to talk about, and thereby prevent abuse of children, or parents marketing their kids as sex slaves.
I can't think of a single serious biblical scholar across the spectrum who would say that the story of Sodom and Gomorrah is really a story about a sin of same-gender sexual activity.
To elevate those texts and say the real concern is homosexuality is to show that our priorities are messed up.
I just don't understand why this large use of resources and time and energy is being directed towards something that has absolutely no effect on decreasing the suffering in the world.
I think that a lot of people, when they think about gay, they automatically think about what we do in the bedroom, and I think it's just totally moronic. When someone says they're straight, I just don't think of them having sex automatically.
I believe God would care about homelessness, wars, and murder more than someone getting together with someone